presents School is Now in Session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Welcome back to Homeschooled Podcast. I'm Agostino Zoida. I host the Homeschooled Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here. I know you have a lot of options for podcasts out there, and it means a lot if you're stopping by. And I normally have co-host Kevin Lyons, and I normally have guests on, and every now and then I do a solo podcast where it's just me, and I got some things on my mind that I want to talk to you guys about, okay? So we're going to get into that in just a second. Here's what I got coming up. I'm going to be in Philly with my man, Sam Tripoli, and I'm super excited about it. So if you guys want to see me perform live and you're in that area, it'd be great to see you. You can get tickets on my website, homeschooledpod.com. Click on tour. I'm there November 12th through the 14th, and I'm really excited about it. I hope that you can make it. Also, I have a comedy album out right now. It's called The Bad Guy. It's available worldwide. You can get it on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere where you like to, get your comedy from. Even if you're one of those people that, like me, I like to listen to stand-up comedy on Pandora. You type in an artist that you like, and you get to listen to all types of different stand-up. I love doing that. I grew up on that. Not really grew up, but you know what I mean. I've been doing that for since I've been doing comedy. And you can now search for me on Pandora and listen to my radio station, Agostino Zoida. But if you can, it'd be great if you can download my comedy album on iTunes or Amazon or something like that. Once again, it's called The Bad Guy, and if you can't find it for some reason, please use the links on the website, homeschooledpod.com. Click on merch, and while you're on merch, that's also where you have access to all the other merch. You got the apparel. We got accessories like masks and mugs and neck gaiters, and we just have a lot. We got a bunch of dope. If you click on apparel, we got a bunch of dope t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts and stuff like that, including like these baseball tee. You can see it right here. I'm wearing right now. This is one of our logos that our co-host Kevin Lyons designed. It's called Document the Journey. Design Homeschool Podcast. These are great, and I really would appreciate the support. It's the best way to support you guys. If you guys like a podcast, maybe not all the time the sponsors fit your needs, but if you want to support, you gotta buy a t-shirt or something, man. We really appreciate it. Also, this episode is brought to you by Puffy Mattress. They are having early Black Friday deals, you guys. If you guys need a new mattress, you haven't decided where you want to get it from. Everybody claims to be the best. How do you know where to go? I'm telling you guys, I have one in my room right now. I sleep on it every night. Puffy mattress, it's legit, you guys. I love it. Best part of my day sometimes is I can't wait to go lay down on my bed and just get some rest, because I actually get a good night's sleep on my Puffy mattress. And they are having early Black Friday deals right now. But on top of that, I'm going to get you $300 off your mattress. So click the link in the description. I'm going to hook you up with $300 off, free shipping, and a free king size Puffy pillow that gets included when you buy the mattress. And that thing is awesome. Also, this episode is brought to you by Masterclass. Masterclass is one of the favorite things that we love to promote here on this podcast, because I love that it encourages people to go towards their dreams, to go towards even the smallest thing that they want to look into, to get better at, to just if there's a class on anything that you guys want to take, Masterclass has it. And I love the fact that you can take it in your house and it's on your schedule, because right now everybody's like pretty much at home. There's not really much to do. But even before that, it was tough to get out there. You wanted to broaden your knowledge in a certain subject, or get better at something, and you always have an excuse to do that. Your excuse is always like, I don't have money, I don't have time to go take a class, I got kids, I got a full-time job. But Masterclass is perfect because you can take the classes on your schedule, okay? And it's great with your budget as well, because it's not expensive. It's like $90 for a course, but if you're gonna take more than one course, you might as well get their whole website for the year. You can buy access to their entire website for 1 year, so you can take every single course that's available on Masterclass for I believe it's like $180. So that's the way to go. If you want to take a comedy class and the acting class, or comedy and writing, or a cooking class, or maybe you want to take a cooking class and your roommate or your girlfriend wants to take the acting class, you guys can split it up, and that's the way I would do it. Thank you for listening to all the sponsors. I really, really appreciate it. Let's get into the show. I do have some things on my mind. I am extremely looking forward to going to Philadelphia and performing with Sam Tripoli, not only because it's Sam Tripoli and he's a great guy and his audience, the swarm, is off the hook, and I'm super lucky to be a part of it whenever he includes me, but I'm just excited to perform again. You guys don't understand how difficult this has been for everyone, but I mean, if you do something every day and your whole existence is based around it, and then all of a sudden someone says you can't do it anymore, and don't get me wrong, we're doing it little by little, and other states are opening up, but here in California, it's like, I used to go from being out at a comedy club probably 6 nights a week and getting on stage 4 to 5 times a week to getting on stage once a month now. And it's there's no hanging at comedy clubs. Really, there's only a couple that are open just to be outside and drink. There's not even any shows going on, and I'm just so excited to be able to do stand up again. And I mean, believe me, I am still just constantly fighting with Los Angeles County. I've written a plan. I've had help from friends to help me with grammar and rewriting it and everything. So I have this great plan written out to safely have live outdoor shows at comedy clubs that comply with all of the other restrictions, such as restaurants being able to open outdoors, and that's a lot of what I spend most of my day on. And although I've taken a little bit of a break this week because of the elections, things are crazy. I don't think anybody's really answering emails that aren't related to that. But we have to fight for it, And I want to tell you guys that this is just one half of the thing I want to talk about today. I did an open mic the other night. If you listen to the last episode, which was the part 3 of the debates, when I had comics on here debating other comics, this last one that we just did, part 3, check that out. It was great. I had on, my guest was Pat Colicchio, another comic, a great young talented comic from Jersey, and he invited me to go do this open mic that literally is in a tent in a 7-Eleven parking lot, okay? And I just love that there's guys doing stuff like that there's underground comedy, that there's secret shows, there's people that are sticking it to the man, or they're sticking it to LA County and going we're not listening to your rules, we're still going to do comedy shows. I love that. If you have shows like that, I'll do them. I'm not opposed to doing them. Normally, I'm the type of guy to do stuff like that. I should have been one of the first guys that's out there doing underground secret shows, okay? But this time, I wasn't. This time, as if we have lockdown viruses all the time. But you know what I mean? That's totally the type of thing that I would do. That I've always fought. I've always produced shows. I've always, when I was told no, put my own show on instead. And this time I decided to take a different route with it. This time I decided to, and God bless the younger comics. That's their generation to do stuff like that. The guys that were down in the tent. And there's rooftop shows. I mean, there's stuff in people's backyards. I've done a few of those, hidden little patios. It's great, you guys. And I commend those guys, but that's their generation right now. And right now I feel like I have a different place in all of this, and that is to do things fighting the county. And what my goal is right now is I love that those guys are doing that because that's great for comics, but I'm trying to think about the comedy clubs, and that's my main focus right now. Is I'm going to take that road, and I'm going to try to work with the county. And because I'm from Los Angeles originally, and it just really saddens me to see what's happening to this town. We're the entertainment capital of the United States, Los Angeles, and we're like the mecca of comedy clubs. In one circle, you have Comedy Store, Laugh Factory, Improv, literally all within a mile of each other in Hollywood. And Right now, none of them are open, and I really don't want to see some of them go under. I don't want to see some of them go like, hey, we're never opening. Especially some of the, not so famous clubs. And so that is where I feel like my place is right now, is fighting that fight. But anyway, I did the show in the tent. And I got to tell you guys how great it felt. It was just an open mic, and I've never felt to be above open mics. Pretty soon, I will be at 13 years doing stand-up comedy, and I've never felt like I'm too good or too, seasoned to go to open mic. I love going to open mics. I love working out new stuff. I love that there was always a couple in my neighborhood that I could pop in on. That's what kills me the most, is that we used to, I used to like have an idea in my head for a premise of a new joke or something like that, and I would be so excited about it that you can run out somewhere that night and try it, whether it be at an open mic or a bar show or something like that. And it's just so sad that that's not really an option right now. There's no indoor bars. There's no places that you're actually allowed to have live entertainment, even if it's outside here in Los Angeles. So, before you just like, oh man, that's a great idea for a bit. I can't wait to work it out. I'm going to go up tonight and try it. And I just can't. It's so sad. And it's so sad to me that all of like the best talent is moving out of Los Angeles, the entertainment capital. And so a part of me, because I'm from here, wants to be a part of trying to fight it. Who knows? It may never come back to this town. This may not be the entertainment capital in the future anymore, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. My wife wants to move, which like I don't blame her, and I kind of want to also, because rent out here is absolutely ridiculous. I can get a great place, and she wants to go to Oregon. I don't mind Oregon. It's a little bit outside of Portland. Is like I have family out there. I stay there all the time. It's a gorgeous area, and it's great, you guys. I wouldn't mind living out there, but I just constantly think to myself that like there's not too much comedy. There's only one or two comedy clubs, and they're like in Portland. And a guy like me, eventually, I think that I'll lose my mind when it's 10 o'clock at night and I want to go out and do something. I want to go out and hang with comics or drink or something like that. I feel like places close really early in other states. Like out here in LA, I'm used to that life of just every night, you guys, I was out at a comedy club. But I will tell you that this particular night in the tent, I felt like $1 million. I felt like I haven't felt in years, but it's only been a couple of months, But I did kind of feel like I haven't felt in years, because after a while, when you do a lot of open mics and you've been doing comedy as long as I have, which is, not even that long. 13 years is not that long. There's so many more guys that have so much more experience than I do. But after a while, you go do mics and you always hope to get up early and get the fuck out of there. You don't want to listen to everybody. You don't want to wait around all the time, especially when there's like a lot of newbies. Plus, open mics are like, known for being like the worst. Like the other comics don't really pay attention and stuff like that. But, this particular night I went and they put me up last. As I said, my friend Pat Clicchio was hosting. He invited me down and, he put me on last, which I'm totally fine with. I was just an add-on. And also I think that maybe he just wanted me to close it out, or I can do more time, So he throws me on at the end, and I even told them when I got up there, I never thought that I would be so happy to go on last at an open mic, because I got to sit there and listen to all of them go up one by one. And it wasn't even that long. Honestly, guys, it was like an hour, waiting around an hour. So sitting there for an hour, and one by one, they all go up and they do 5 minutes. And I felt so blessed to be able to sit at an open mic, even though, we're outdoors in a tent, but I still felt so blessed that I could do that again, that I can sit there and I watched each of them go up one by one, and each one funnier than the last. Young guys that that haven't been doing it that long, some that are a little more seasoned than others, but each one just throwing out ideas that were like great ideas. I mean, maybe they're going to be a great premise one day, maybe, or a great joke one day. Maybe, you never know, they might play with it for a while, never becomes nothing. But the point is that the way that these guys were thinking and the way that some of them were performing was like, these guys all have talent in them. And it was so wonderful to sit there and watch comics go up and try new thoughts. They're just thoughts, this is a thought, let me talk it out and see what comes back and if I can work with it. And it was just so great because it reminded me of a time where I would have a thought and I can go try it. Or it's just a beautiful time where people could talk freely about things that they were thinking, current events or just whatever. And nobody was being judged for it or afraid to say it or afraid to hear it. And it was just real comics. And I was so happy that I went last and I got to watch all of them. I mean, we're talking about a mixed room here. A couple of white guys, a couple of black guys, a Latino guy, and just comics, and that's always what comedy was. I never saw it as anything else other than like when we were all in this room waiting to go on stage to try our new thing. We were all just comics. I never, you don't look at things in color, but in today's age, everybody wants you to look at things in color, you know what I mean, everywhere you look. And it was just nice that we didn't care. We spoke freely. We worked material out with each other. And I went on last and I worked out 2-3 new jokes and I dropped a story on them at the end. And I've got this good story that I'm working on right now, and I got to tell you guys that I've been struggling with where to go with it, how to end it. And I've even had a couple of friends tell me that's a great story, but you'll never make it into a bit. So I tried it that night at the open mic, and I got to tell you, a couple of guys afterwards, some of those dudes, they were they gave me great pointers. A lot of those guys, they helped me out. They normally you don't even want pointers, especially at open mic, because usually people want to tell you, hey, what if you did this? It's usually never funny. Or they come up to you and they tell you oh, what if you took it in this direction? You're like, dude, that's not even where I'm going with it. So that's no. But these guys gave me some pointers, and it just felt so good to be out at night. I don't care if it was in a tent in the parking lot of 7-Eleven. It just felt good to be out at night with my peers doing what we love doing, trying new thoughts on each other, not being afraid to say what's on your mind. And then, you go up and you try your thoughts. It was just absolutely fantastic. And I told all those guys in the room that they're all so good. They're all so talented. So when people say that all the talent is moving out of Los Angeles, like I just said, you could tell them to go fuck themselves. Because honestly, the future of stand-up comedy is probably in that tent. There was a lot of talent in that tent, you guys, and I'm sure there's little rooms and these secret little shows and these underground comedy rooms that, are probably all over. And there's probably a bunch of great talent there that are just not afraid to go out there, fuck it, mask, no mask, fuck the COVID bullshit, fuck riots going on. We're going to go do some comedy. And I'm down to do those shows. I'm down to do them. Moving on to the next subject. Speaking of speaking freely, let's talk about the election for a second here, which we're still in the middle of it. I'm recording this right now. It's Thursday night, the 5th, November the 5th, and, as of now, there hasn't been an official announcement of who won this election, although you look at it and all the polls and all the news, which you can't trust them because they always kind of lie to you. They're all saying that, Biden's only a couple points away. It looks like it's going to be him. And to be honest with you guys, I feel like my prediction is maybe by tomorrow, Friday morning when you're listening to this, or, by the end of Friday or by the end of this week, I feel like, they're going to announce that Biden won. And I think that the Trump campaign is going to take it to the Supreme Court. I mean, guys, you know that they were cheating. They're cheating. Okay, listen to me for a second. If you listen to me on this podcast ever, you know how I feel about certain things. Guys, I'm trying to tell you, it is impossible for Biden to legitimately have won this election. There's obviously foul play in almost every state, it feels like. Let me tell you my story. I went down and voted in person, okay? I felt extremely uncomfortable with how unprivate it was to vote, okay? I've never voted before, you guys. You're talking to a person who has never voted before. I was one of those guys who was always just like, you know, the Mark Twain quote, like if voting counted, they wouldn't let us do it. George Carlin said that too. And I was always one of those guys. But this time, I bought into the hype. I bought into the division of the nation, okay? And I thought this was and it is a super important election. And, you know, I used to think it didn't matter. And, you know, I never really could stand those people that wear the I voted sticker and shit like that. Like, even as a kid, I just, you know, even if I would have voted, I'm not doing the sticker and putting a bumper sticker in the back of my car. Like, I was never that guy, and I'm still not. You know, I got one bumper sticker on my car right now, and it's for my own podcast, okay? If I'm going to represent somebody, I'm going to represent me, not some guy I don't know. But I'm going to tell you that, you know, it's heavily fraudulent. So I go to vote in person, and it was really unprivate. And the entire time, the staff there is walking behind me, like looking over my shoulder, looking at who I'm voting for. Just like one guy, he was staring at me so hard. I thought, like, where do I know this guy from? Like, one of the guys that worked there, he kept walking by my voting booth, which is just out in the open, by the way. And he just kept staring at me, like even making eye contact. We made eye contact, and I just look at, like, dude, wait, what is this guy looking at? They're just staring. I felt really uncomfortable. And I couldn't help but notice there was also one other person that they were doing that to. But by the way, I went to go vote in person with my wife at the same time, and I asked her, and she said, no, I didn't feel like anybody was looking over my shoulder. Nobody was walking by me at all. They gave me my space. But they did it to me, and the other guy I noticed they were doing it to was this older gentleman, probably 80-something years old, and he's got his veteran's hat and has all the buttons from whatever military, you know, he was in. And they were doing it to him, and I got to tell you guys, I was wearing a mask, because out here in Los Angeles, or California rather, you can't even go indoors anywhere without putting a mask on. So the voting is in the mall. They won't let me in the mall, so I got to wear a mask. So my mask is the American flag mask, okay? Which I didn't do to try to be like, I'm for Trump or anything like that. Which, by the way, if you see some of the American flag and you think they're a Trump supporter, what does that tell you about the fucking guy you're voting for? Also, but that's not the reason I did it. I did it because that particular mask is a lot easier to breathe out of. I got a couple masks, and that one is just like, it's one of those really thin neck gaiters, like American flag ones, and I was just like, you know, I'm probably going to be in line for a long time, and whenever I wear those masks for too long, I can't breathe. So I go, let me get this one. It's thin. And I have a feeling the guy with the military stuff on his head and me with the American flag, they were on our shit. And I'm in a blue radical leftist town, Los Angeles. Okay, and I can only imagine the fucking other shit that's going on. So far today, so many people have sent me 1,000 videos of, you know, people who are counting the ballots cheating. There's video of them changing the votes. I mean, it's out there, guys. There's, you know, I don't even know how many states. I think there's like 6 states which Biden ended up winning that had like 110, 100,000. Another one had 200,000 more votes than they actually have registered voters. So, it's just not legitimate. So I think what's going to happen is, you know, maybe by the end of the week, we're going to have an announcement that Biden won. And I think very quickly it's going to be taken to the Supreme Court. I think that's going to get overturned. And that's when the Civil War is going to start. So I hope everybody's safe, you know. I mean, you saw all these major towns. Los Angeles did it, D.C., New York, you know, down in Beverly Hills, they did it. They did it just about everywhere. They boarded up all the businesses because they're expecting rioting and looting. And I got to tell you guys, that was probably in anticipation of Trump winning. And, you know, they're going to go out and riot. And it seems that he doesn't have a lead right now. And, you know, so there isn't any rioting. But I got to tell you guys, I don't think that the Trump supporters are people to go and riot and destroy property or anything like that. But I'll tell you what, they're going to go fight for their Second Amendment rights. They're going to go down there holding guns. They might go down to the courthouse and protest and say, you know, we ain't giving up. You know, we ain't going to let you embarrass our country like that with this obvious cheating, you guys. So, I mean, what did you expect? And I tell people it was obvious cheating, and some people, they go, oh, man, no, it wasn't. You're just a sore loser. And it's like, listen, man, it has nothing to do with that. It's just common sense. Okay? I've lived here in Los Angeles my entire life, and I've never seen so hard people here representing a Republican candidate. It was such a crazy time, you guys. Like, here in Los Angeles, I'm driving, if anybody knows, on the 101 freeway, through the valley of Los Angeles, and this is a very leftist area. And guys, there's Trump billboards hanging everywhere. So I can only imagine the red states. That's going on in the blue states. I was out at a bar with Eddie Bravo. We were watching football, and it had to be 1,000-car Trump parade. We're talking buses, school buses, tanks, old 50s Chevys and stuff that people fixed up with Trump flags and stuff like that. Guys, this guy's support goes deep. There was a 96-mile Trump parade in Arizona. You're trying to tell me that he lost that state? You got to just use common sense. Some people, they just want to stay divided. They just want to go, well, you're just a sore loser. Listen, it's not that. Sometimes you got to not listen to the news, you got to not listen to the media, and you got to just use common sense here. And it's not about being a sore loser. Let me tell you guys something. I am used to losing, and I'm fine with losing. And I'm actually in my most comfortable place losing, okay? As a stand-up comedian, rejection, I'm used to it. I've never won the lottery, okay, you guys? Every stock I buy crashes. It's not fun when your sports team loses. It's just, through life, you learn how to take rejection. You learn how to take losses. It's not the point of that. It's the integrity of the country. It's our freedoms that are at stake. And it's I hear the other side going oh, you would have lost your freedoms with Trump. That's the most opposite thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I just wanted to say this. Listen, I'm going to keep this podcast short. I just wanted to kind of say tonight, because it's crazy. And most of all, I want everybody to stay safe, protect your families, okay? But I just want to say that whoever wins or whatever happens, if tomorrow you wake up and Biden's president, or, if a month from now, after Supreme Court rules that there was cheating, Trump goes back to being president again, keep your family safe. There's going to be civil wars in the streets. Don't be surprised if other countries join in on that, by the way. If you got fucking China and Germany and shit that are helping Antifa out with the rioting. Just keep your family safe. But I will tell you, no matter what happens, guys, tomorrow and every day after that, you got to wake up. You're going to keep breathing in and out. And you're going to put your pants on one leg at a time. And you're going to go do what you do. And you're going to go do what you need to do to keep moving forward, to keep thriving, to keep progressing with your self-growth and your self-goals. And then once you worked on yourself, you keep moving forward with those closest to you, your family, your friends, your relationships, growth, and growth of love that's in your heart, and the ability that you have to put love out into the world, into the universe. Understand the ability you have. It's a strong, powerful ability to put love into the universe. You have that ability, and understand that that is what you need to do. Your team didn't win, whatever. A lot's at stake, though. And as I said, I've never voted before in my life until now. I finally bought into the hype. And I've always thought that my one little vote wasn't really going to do anything. Maybe I thought that because I live in a state that never really changes anyway. But I just always believed that it didn't matter. They wouldn't let us do it. But then I got convinced, well, if it didn't matter, they wouldn't be doing all this. They wouldn't have done the coronavirus just to rig the elections and all that stuff, So, you just got to keep going, okay? If you can't change one of the most powerful positions in the country with your one vote, then, tomorrow you wake up and it's the person you didn't want. You have to start small with change in your community, your small circle, starting with you. Start with your own change, things that you want to work on in yourself, and then you move on to the small community, your small circle of people. And then once you've succeeded that, you can grow further and grow further, and you fight your way up the ladder and change all the way to the top, and you make things happen that is right. Okay? So again, tomorrow you wake up, or the next day, you're going to keep breathing in and out. You're going to put your pants on. You're going to go to work. And if you don't have a job right now, you're going to go find one. You're going to keep working towards it. The ultimate goal, the ultimate prize, whatever it is that you want, that you're striving for, that you're working at. I'm a stand-up comic, you guys. Don't talk to me about sore loser. I know rejection. I know what it's like to never be the winner and to not be the guy that anybody's choosing or looking for. Okay? So don't talk to me about sore loser. I'm ready for it. Everything I've ever gotten is because I had to fight for when no one was looking at me. And I had to start here within me and then work my way out and work my way up. And that's what we're going to do, and we're never going to stop doing it. And that's what makes us Americans. Okay? Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Come back. We have great guests on all the time. We're not always talking about this stuff. And we do talk a lot about stand-up comedy, some conspiracies. Lately, all anybody's talking about is politics and virus shit. But I hope that you guys liked it. Please subscribe if you're not already. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. We need it. Tell a friend about us. We really appreciate it. You guys, don't forget, all the links are in the description for Masterclass and Puffy Mattress. And don't forget to download my album. Please leave it 5 stars. Please give me a 5-star review when you download my album. And then don't forget, I'll be in Philly November 12th through the 14th with Sam Triple. You guys can get tickets. And you can get tickets. You can find all the sponsor links. You can find the links to download my album. Everything is at homeschooled.pod.com. Homeschooled.pod.com. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for dealing with me. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. I'm Agostino Zoida. This is Homeschooled Podcast. Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschooled.
The Homeschooled Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to do that at all.